Welcome back, everyone. I'm Professor Rodriguez, your college instructor, supply chain executive, and co founder of the MVC Logistics Academy, a channel made for all things supply chain and logistics related. That includes career and professional development in the field of supply chain and logistics, which is why I bring you this comprehensive video today that is focused on careers within the supply chain industry. So, whether you're a student exploring potential career paths, a professional considering a career transition, or if you're just curious about what roles are available, the skills you need, and how to get started, then you're in the right place. Supply chain management is a field that touches every part of our lives, and it offers an incredible opportunity for professionals at all levels. So, what do you say? Let's explore how you can begin this journey in the supply chain and logistics industry. Okay, so first let's break down the video. What we're going to cover here in today's video. First, we're going to do an overview of careers in supply chain. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what is supply chain, and that's of course as a brief little blip. If you do want a longer video, we have something on the channel that's like a full length video of what is supply chain and supply chain management. So you feel free to check that out. Then we're going to touch upon some of the entry level positions available out there and what are the different levels of positions you can have in supply chain. We'll talk about some of the skills that are needed for some of the entry level positions. Then we're going to talk about education and certifications. And finally, we're going to touch upon some of the growth opportunities we have here in this field. First, let's start by briefly defining supply chain management. Emphasis on the brief. We're just going to have a quick little slide about it because that's not what I want to focus about on this video. I want to focus more on the career side of things. If you do, like I said, if you want a more in-depth video about this concept, what is supply chain, then you have a video that we have here on the channel that you can check out. I'll put the links in the description down below, and I will try to add it here in the cards as well so you have it easily accessible. If not, always feel free to check out the channel and watch for yourself some of the content that we have that it's all about supply chain and logistics. All right. With that said, we can define supply chain management as the process of managing the flow of goods and services from the raw material stage all the way to the finished product that ends up in the customer's hands. That is a definition, what I like to call the elevator pitch definition. That is what you need to know drilled into your mind when you think of what is supply chain. If anybody asks you, if you have a conversation with somebody, this is what you need to know if you're starting from scratch. This is exactly that definition on what is supply chain management. So everybody's in the same page and we have a little bit of an idea of what that is, right? Start from zero. If you're a professional, then you know this very well. But this is sort of the broad description, the broad definition of what is supply chain management, right? The process of managing the flow of goods. And what do we manage in this flow? We manage different things. Now, this involves everything, and we think of the processes, and these can be things like procurement, production, logistics, inventory management, and finally, distribution, as well as customer service. And just to give you a little bit of a visual or an idea of a supply chain in motion, think about your morning cup of coffee. How these beans are grown on a farm, then transported to a roaster, then packaged, then distributed to stores as a finished good or a final product, and then actually brewed into your favorite drink, whether you're making it yourself at home or you're purchasing it from a retailer. Every step of that process is managed by a supply chain and by supply chain management professionals. All the steps, the symphony of steps that have to happen in order for you to consume that cup of coffee need to be coordinated, organized, managed, and that has to be done by supply chain management professionals. Now, let's talk about why a career in supply chain management might be one of the smartest decisions someone can make when it comes to choosing an industry or choosing a career. Not that I'm biased, although I might be. Frankly, because I am in this industry, I teach, I work at it, in it, and I see the benefits to it, right? But as it is with anything in life, there are pros and cons, and you'll have to be the judge of that yourself. I'm just here to present you some of the facts about this industry and why it might make sense for somebody to choose it, right? Because you need to know the facts before you make decisions. And I hope that that's what I'm here to do with you. Now, if you're someone who loves problem solving, you thrive in dynamic environments, and you want a career that generally impacts the world around you, then this is the field that's going to check all those boxes. Now, here's the thing, just like with the cup of coffee that we talked about before, every product that you use in your home or at work, from the phone that you have in your hand that you might be watching this video on, to the food on your plate that you eat every day, it got there because of a supply chain and because of the professionals in that supply chain. It is an industry that quietly powers the world. And it is important because it has skyrocketed in recent years, especially after the pandemic. Everybody was wondering and asking, what is supply chain? What happened with the supply chain? Why were my products getting to me when I needed them? Why was there a shortage of all these different products during the pandemic? So it sort of highlighted uh, really what supply chain was to the general public. So it became a little bit, I don't want to say trendy because I don't think that would be the term, but it has become more of something that is more known to the public and to people that might be outside of the field. Now, why is it important and why have people noticed more about it recently than they have before? I would like to think because businesses now realize that efficient supply chains and supply chain management are not just a cost benefit to the business or to the operations, but they can also be a competitive advantage, right? You can differentiate yourself as a business from others by how strongly you build your supply chains. And we started to see that from major events like the pandemic, and we're starting to see that more and more now. Now, let's break a little bit of that down here in the next couple of slides. First and foremost, let's talk about job security. Now, supply chain management is a field that's growing fast, and the demand for professionals is outpacing the supply. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, employment for logistics professionals, or people who analyze and coordinate supply chains, is expected to grow by 28% over the next decade. And that is massive. And it's not just logistics, roles across the board in supply chain management are booming. Now, why is this happening? As I mentioned a little bit before, the world is more interconnected than ever before. Global trade, although this is not something new, but it is something that's become more of a focus for some businesses, e commerce as well, and I think also a constant push for being more efficient and creating supply chains that are more efficient also means that companies need the skilled professionals who can actually manage the complexity in their supply chain networks. Add to that some of the lessons we learned from the pandemic, from major disruptions, and businesses are really doubling down or building more resilient, more well managed supply chains. And they need the professionals, the supply chain professionals. They need the skills or the people that have the skills to actually be able to do this. Another element to this is competitive salaries. Let's be real, salary is a big factor when choosing a career, right? I know it has been in my case in some occasions. And I'm sure that it is a big consideration for a lot of you when you think about what career is really going to pay off based on the salary that I will receive for that career. Where the good news is that supply chain professionals are very well compensated. Now, entry level roles like logistics coordinator or inventory analyst often start around $50,000 to $60,000 per year, depending on the location and the company. But as you gain experience, then your salary also tends to climb as well. Now, mid level positions like supply chain analyst can earn between $65,000 and $85,000 per year, while managers often pull in a little bit more, hitting them closer to the six-figure salaries. Also, as you climb the ladder and you become more of the upper level positions, think of chief supply chain officer or one of the E level suite executives, then you're looking more at $150,000 to $200,000 per year or more for these type of positions. Now that's not bad, and you also have to think about that some companies might offer bonuses and incentives that are tied to performance, and that makes it a little bit more lucrative for you as well. Now keep in mind that these are just some general guidelines or some general information about salaries, and that a lot of this will depend more on where you're located, the companies that you're applying to, and the level of experience that you have. Now, here is the exciting part, at least what I think is exciting, is that supply chain management and jobs in supply chain management aren't just locally based, meaning in your location. It is what I like to call a global career. If you ever dreamed of working abroad, I know I have, and of traveling, for work, then this field offers you many incredible opportunities to do just that. For example, if you're managing logistics for a company like Nike, you might coordinate with factories in Asia, warehouses in Europe, and retail stores in North America, all within a single day. It can be challenging, yes, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. And let's not forget that global exposure looks great on your resume. Now let's talk about impact. In supply chain and a career in supply chain, it isn't just what you do in your job, in your position, but it is about how everything is related and it has sort of this chain reaction to the external world beyond your company, beyond your position, beyond your title. Supply chain professionals can solve real world problems, especially during a crisis. For example, think back to the pandemic, or think about when a natural disaster hits a certain area or a certain location, or there's a shortage of medication. It is a supply chain team and a supply chain professional that can ensure that people get what they need and in a timely manner, and that is impactful. That is something that is not just you sitting behind a desk or you just doing a couple of different tasks. It is something that eventually will have an effect on people, on their well-being, on their livelihood, and it does sort of give you this bigger picture idea of how your work can impact somebody and how meaningful it can be depending on what it is that you're doing. Take humanitarian logistics, for example. Organizations like the World Food Program rely on supply chain professionals to deliver food and supplies to disaster stricken areas. Imagine being part of a team that saves lives by ensuring that the essential goods that are needed reach those who need them the most. So always think about that, the impact and the meaning behind the work that you do. And I think in supply chain management and professionals within this field can take pride in seeing that as well. Now, also, if you're someone that loves learning and staying on top of trends, that this might be the career for you. Supply chain management is at the cutting edge of innovation. From drones delivering packages to AI being included or being able to use it to optimize inventory, there's always something new that's happening, and so always something new that you constantly need to learn about. As an example, companies like Walmart and FedEx are already using predictive analytics to anticipate demand and optimize routes. Amazon is actually experimenting with autonomous delivery systems, and blockchain technology is transforming the way that they track goods across the supply chain. The point here is that the field of supply chain management and logistics is dynamic. It can be exciting and also full of opportunities to learn about these new technologies and also be able to innovate and be part of that innovation, and gives you a lot of areas for further study. Okay, so now let's talk about how to get your foot in the door and start a career in supply chain management. Now, you might think that All supply chain roles require years and years of experience or advanced degrees. And like in every field, some of them do. But here's the good news, there are plenty of entry level opportunities in positions that allow you to learn on the job, to grow quickly, and even to work your way up. Entry level roles are a great starting point for anyone that's new to the supply chain management field or someone that's looking to switch careers. They give you, I guess, a chance to learn the basics, to also develop your essential skills, and also to understand how the pieces of this supply chain puzzle start to fit together. Now, here we're going to talk about some of the most common entry level positions and what they involve. First, we have a logistics coordinator. A logistics coordinator is like the conductor of an orchestra, ensuring that all of the moving parts of a supply chain work well together. Your main job here in this role is to manage the transportation of goods, making sure that shipments arrive on time, in good condition, and at the right cost for the business. Now, this role involves coordinating with carriers, tracking shipments, and solving any kind of problems that can delay a delivery, or if there are any kind of routing issues with your shipments. If you're organized and detail oriented and also a strong communicator, then this is a fantastic starting point. It is also one of the most in demand positions, especially with a lot of e commerce startups. Now, as a quick tip to stand out, familiarize yourself with software for logistics like Oracle, Transportation Management, or FreightPop. These tools are widely used and will give you a little bit of an edge when it comes to the hiring process. Okay, so up next we have inventory analyst. Now, this role is all about ensuring that companies maintain the right balance of stock, meaning that you have enough to meet demand, but not so much that you're wasting money on excess inventory. As an inventory analyst, you analyze stock data, track inventory movements, and collaborate with teams to plan for any kind of future demand. This role is perfect for those of you who love working with numbers and problem solving. As a quick tip, Excel is your best friend in this role. So, mastering advanced Excel skills like pivot tables and VLOOKUP can make you indispensable. And if you want to go a little bit further and more advanced, then learning inventory management software like SAP and NetSuite can really boost your career prospects. Now, this is a great time to talk about a tool that can actually make a huge difference when we talk about inventory management and as well as your supply chain career, especially if you're aiming to master inventory management. Now, if you're just starting out, or even if you're looking to take your logistics career to the next level, understanding how to handle inventory is crucial. It is the backbone of supply chain operations, ensuring that the right products are in the right place and at the right time. And that is exactly where Inflow Inventory comes in. Now, Inflow Inventory is a powerful, user friendly inventory management software that helps you gain full control over stock levels, orders, and sales data, all from one intuitive platform. If you felt overwhelmed by all the different spreadsheets or you're worried about missing some reorders, I get it, I've been there. Inflow Inventory can automate those tasks for you and give you real time visibility. Now, one of the best parts, Inflow integrates seamlessly with some popular e commerce platforms, accounting software, and even POS systems. That means whether you're working in a warehouse, at a retail chain, or running your own business or own online store, Inflow can adapt to fit your workflow. This versatility not only streamlines your day to day operations, but also makes you more marketable as a professional who can navigate the cutting edge inventory tools in the system. Now, imagine being able to automate reorders so you never run out of your best sellers or tracking orders in real time and generating reports that can help you forecast demand more accurately. These are the kinds of skills that stand out on your resume and showcasing that, and that you know a software that works with that, and that you understand both principles of inventory control and also the technology that drives modern supply chains is a great plus. If you're serious about a career in supply chain, getting familiar with top tier inventory management softwares like Inflow Inventory can give you a significant edge. If you're ready to give it a try, I've partnered with Inflow to offer you a special link, and just you can check it out at the description down below. Now let's get back to exploring more about supply chain careers. So let's get back into it and we continue with procurement assistant. The procurement assistant supports the purchasing team by sourcing materials, managing supplier relationships, and ensuring that goods are delivered on time and within budget. This role gives you hands on experience in negotiating contracts and building relationships with vendors. Companies like Apple and Tesla rely on the procurement teams to source critical components like semiconductors and batteries. Starting as a procurement assistant is a great way to learn how to manage cost and be able to ensure quality. As a quick tip to excel in procurement, hone your negotiation skills and learn about supplier management tools like Coupa or Ariba. These tools are commonly used and will make you a stronger candidate. Next, we have customer service representative. Let's not overlook the importance of customer service roles in the supply chain. I started out in customer service, so I would like to say I see the importance of this. In this position, you act as the bridge between customers and the supply chain, ensuring that their needs are met while solving any issues that arise. I like to think and I like to say that you're in the front lines of the supply chain because you deal directly with the customers. So these can be some challenging positions, but you are able to start as an entry level and then move your way into other types of jobs or other types of positions. This role is ideal if you're a great communicator and you enjoy problem solving on the spot. Plus, it helps you develop a sort of understanding of how supply chains interact with the end customers. Like I said, you're in the front lines. As a quick tip, focus on developing your conflict resolution skills. You're going to encounter frustrated customers, clients, and your ability to stay calm and collected and be able to resolve issues is going to set you apart. Now that we've covered some of the roles, let's talk about how to make yourself the best candidate for these positions. And here's some advice to help you shine in the application process and on the job. Build your foundational skills. Employers are looking for candidates with strong foundational skills, like attention to detail. Small errors in inventory or in shipments can have major consequences when we're talking about supply chain. So, being aware of all the different details that are in motion is going to be very important. So, attention to detail is a crucial skill. Also, time management. Supply chains move super fast. So you need to stay on top of deadlines, on top of shipments, and you need to be able to handle these tasks timely. So be sure to be able to have enough skills with time management. I wasn't always the best at this, but I have developed that skill as I continue in my career and also moved it into my personal life as well. Another skill is technical aptitude. Get comfortable with tools and working with Excel, working even Google Sheets if that's as little as you know. You're also going to need to know entry level supply chain software and the tools that we use because these are needed in your everyday task. And most roles nowadays you will need to have some level of a technical aptitude when it comes to using different types of WMS or TMS systems or an ERP. And these are going to be things that you're going to need to know at least to some degree. So, being computer savvy, that's a must. You need to be able to know how to handle and deal with being on a computer to some degree. Okay. So, if that is something that you need to build upon, consider that. You can also consider platforms like Coursera or LinkedIn Learning that offer excellent beginner courses in both logistics, inventory management, and many other different processes, as well as some of the technical skills like Excel and some of those type of softwares. Now, completing these courses can give you a little bit of an edge and they could bring up your skill set. So make sure that you consider some of these, especially if you don't have any prior experience with some of these areas. Gain hands on experience. Now, experience is key, but how do you get it without already being in the industry? That is a question I get asked all the time. Well, think about some of the options out there might be internships or part-time roles, which are a great way to start. Many companies, including Amazon and DHL, offer internships, especially for students or recent graduates that are interested in supply chain management. Even if it's not a formal internship, look for ways to gain relevant experience, right? Volunteer for logistics roles in a non for profit or a small business where you might be able to gain some valuable skills while making a difference. If you're transitioning from another field, I would highly recommend that you highlight transferable skills. For example, if you worked in retail, you already understand inventory management and customer service. If you manage projects, then you're already familiar with meeting deadlines and organizing resources. As a quick tip, try to customize your resume for each role by using keywords from the job description. This not only shows that you're a good fit, but also helps your resume get past some of the application tracking systems. And also think about the bigger picture. Entry level roles are your ticket into the supply chain industry. They might seem small at first, but they provide a solid foundation to build your career. The skills you gain as a logistics coordinator or inventory analyst will open the doors to roles like a supply chain manager, a procurement specialist, or even later on, a director of operations. The key is to approach every role with respect as well as a willingness to learn. Remember that every great supply chain leader started out somewhere, and this could be your starting point. All right, let's talk about education and certifications. Two of the key ingredients to launching and advancing your supply chain career. Whether you're coming straight out of school, pivoting careers, or looking to climb the ladder, the right education and certifications can give you the knowledge, the confidence, as well as the credibility to stand out in this competitive industry. So, we're going to discuss the different levels or types of education, and we're going to start with formal education. Now, a bachelor's degree is one of the best ways to build a strong foundation for a supply chain career. And here's the great news: supply chain management isn't limited to just one type of degree. Employers are hiring candidates with diverse educational backgrounds. Here are some of the degrees that are highly relevant for supply chain roles. First, we have the Bachelor in Supply Chain Management. As it is in the name, this is the most direct path. And some great programs, like the one at Michigan State University and Arizona State University, are globally ranked, and they focus specifically on logistics, procurement, and operations. You also have the Bachelor's in Business Administration. Now, this is a broad foundation in business principles and management, which is essential for roles in supply chain management, operations, as well as logistics. Programs like the one at the University of Pennsylvania and Indiana University School of Business are also highly ranked schools. There's also degrees in economics and data analytics. These degrees can help you specialize in demand forecasting, inventory analysis, and supply chain modeling. Some of the programs at the University of Chicago, as well as the University of Texas at Austin, focus on applying analytics to real world supply chain problems, such as inventory optimization and demand forecasting. Now, you might be asking or wondering, what if I didn't major in one of these fields? Well, don't worry. Plenty of people enter supply chain management with unrelated degrees. The key is to pair your background with industry relevant training, even cross training, and also certifications. For example, if you have a degree in IT, well, you can try to specialize in supply chain systems like ERP software or blockchain logistics platforms. As a quick tip, check out universities that offer online bachelor's programs if you're trying to balance work and your studies. Also, for certifications, check out platforms like EDX and Coursera that offer micro degrees and certificates from top schools like MIT and Penn State, and many, many others. Each of these programs provides a pathway to a successful career in supply chain management or related fields. But if you're looking at other programs or other schools, I do want to give you some tips for actually choosing a school. First, look for industry connections. Look at schools maybe with partnerships with major companies like Amazon or IBM or maybe even Deloitte that they often might provide better internship and job opportunities for when you actually finish your program. You also should look into accreditations. Ensure that the program is accredited by reputable organizations, depending on the type of program you're interested into going. So make sure you check the accreditations. You should also evaluate cost and scholarships. Many top schools offer scholarships, financial aid, or work study programs to make education more affordable for you. So make sure you know how much the cost is going to be for the program, the whole program, yearly or however. And make sure that you also check out what scholarships might be available to you, both academically and depending on your background as well. Okay, so check those, make sure you check those out. You should also focus on location. Proximity to major supply chain hubs or industries, for example, like in Atlanta for logistics, or in California, like Silicon Valley for tech, or Chicago for transportation hubs, they can make networking for you a little bit easier. If you're already in close proximity to those, then you might be able to have access to a larger pool of employers as you move in your program. Now, let me know in the comments if you like for a little bit more of tailored advice for specific career goals that you might have, and we can try to create some content around it. Now, let's talk about advanced degrees. If you want to move into leadership roles like supply chain director or chief logistics officer, a master's degree or an MBA with a focus on supply chain management can take your career to the next level. Programs like the one at MIT with their master's in supply chain management or the University of Michigan Ross MBA program are highly regarded in the industry. These programs go beyond the basics and they dive deep into the strategic side of things, both in sourcing, global logistics, and also talk about or touch upon emerging technologies like AI and blockchain. An MBA or a master's isn't for everyone. We understand that. It's a big investment. But here's the thing, many employers will help fund your education if it aligns with your role. So don't be afraid to ask about tuition reimbursement programs at your current employer. Let's talk about certifications, my favorite. Now, certifications are like a super booster to your resume. They prove to employers that you have specialized skills and are up to date with the industry knowledge. Best of all, you don't need years of experience to start earning them or investing years into a formal education because you can get them right away. Now, here we're going to talk about the top certifications that supply chain professionals should consider, whether you're starting out or if you're looking to advance your career. First, we have the Certified Supply Chain Professional. This is a certification that you can get through APEX, which is now part of the Association for Supply Chain Management, and is one of the most recognized credentials worldwide. It covers everything from supply chain design and planning to operations and even technology integration. If you want to stand out in roles like a supply chain analyst or a logistics manager, this certification is a fantastic choice. Plus, you can study at your own pace using the online resources. Make sure that you visit apex.org for details about the CSCP exam structure, the cost, the preparation materials. And I know that they even offer some student discounts. So take a look at those and take advantage of those. And if you're considering the certification, that is a great starting point that I think every supply chain professional should have in their resume and in their education. It is the Certified Supply Chain Professional certification by APIX. Okay, next up is the Certified in Production and Inventory Management, or CPIM certification, which is also offered by APIX. This is perfect for anyone working with inventory control, production planning, or demand management, or interested in those fields. You have to think of it as taking a certification is going to give you like a deep dive into the operational side of supply chains. In roles like inventory analyst or production planner, you'll often see this certification listed as a preferred credential because it demonstrates that you understand how to align inventory with demand. Let's not forget about Lean Six Sigma certifications. These are game changers for anyone looking to improve efficiency and reduce waste in supply chains. The green belt level is ideal for beginners, and it teaches you the tools and techniques to optimize processes. Now, companies like Toyota and GE are famous for their Lean Six Sigma practices, and having the certification would make you a more appealing candidate because they'll see you as a more valuable asset to any team. You can get started with the Lean Six Sigma certification on platforms like ASQ or Coursera, where programs are often self paced and also budget friendly. Now, some positions that often require this certification are production planner, process improvement specialist, and also quality manager. Next, we have the Certified Professional in Supply Management, or the CPSM. Now, this is offered by the Institute for Supply Management, ISM, and it's excellent for professionals focusing on procurement and strategic sourcing. It covers supplier negotiations, contract management, and cost reduction strategies. If you are aiming for roles like a procurement specialist or a category manager, this certification can help you hit the ground running. As always, I'm going to add the links to all of these certifications in the description down below, so make sure to check them out if you're interested. And you can find out more details and more information on any of these certifications. And it goes without saying that education and certifications are very powerful tools that can help you open many doors, no matter where you're starting from. The supply chain industry is hungry for talent, and investing in yourself is the best kind of investment, and is also going to pay off in the long run. If you're ready to take the first step, let me know in the comments which certifications or degree paths are most interesting to you. And don't forget to check the description below for some of the links to these resources. If you're enjoying this content, hit that like button and that subscribe button for the MVC Logistics Academy so you can get more insights into supply chain careers. Okay, so I do want to address something very important that I always tell my students. Not everyone has the time, the resources, or even the interest to pursue a formal degree, like a bachelor's degree or even a master's degree. And that is totally okay. A successful career in supply chain management doesn't always require a university degree. There are plenty of what I call or is known as non formal education paths that can help you gain the skills, the knowledge, and even the confidence to land a job in this field. Up first, we have online learning. And online learning platforms have been a game changer for many years, but I think specifically or more recently after the pandemic, there's been a bigger increase in online learning. And for anyone who wants to learn supply chain management on their own time, at their own pace, and also at a fraction of the cost of a traditional degree, then this might be a great alternative. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do have platforms like Coursera, EDX, and Udemy that offer affordable, high quality courses that are taught by industry experts and from top universities. For example, if you go on Coursera, you can find courses like Supply Chain Management Specialization, and this is offered by Rutgers University. You also have one of my favorites, which is AI for Supply Chain by the University of Minnesota. And here's the best part. Many of these platforms offer payment plans or free trials, or they might even let you audit the course for free. That means that you can access this education without breaking the bank. For you is to focus on building a learning schedule. You have to block out 1 to 2 hours a day, or even if you have 20 minutes, block it out, but need to make sure that you have consistency and that you create a learning schedule. Yes, it is at your own pace. You're doing it as you can, but make sure that you stay consistent with learning the material, taking on your assignments, and completing all the work that is required. All right. There's not going to be anybody behind you pushing you to do this work like you do in a traditional setting with a school or university. That's not the case. You're learning on your own, but also the responsibilities are on your own. So you need to make sure that you create a learning schedule that blocks out a certain amount of time a day for you to focus on that particular task. Now, there's also free resources and open access content. If you're really on a budget, free educational resources are your best friend. You can still, though, build a strong supply chain knowledge with the right content. Let's start with YouTube. Now, there are plenty of creators and channels dedicated to supply chain topics that explain everything from logistics and inventory to case studies to technology trends. You name it, you'll find it on YouTube. Our channel aside, there's still plenty of other channels and other creators that you're able to search for on YouTube and find content that is high quality content that you'll have for free that you can access and learn from. Okay, so take advantage of that and always try to learn as much as you can from the tools that you have access to. Now, a few of the channels that I recommend that are great, I watch them also myself. I try to watch at least once a day, is MIT Open Courseware. Now, they have free recordings of MIT supply chain courses and other types of courses and lectures from the professors at MIT. So it's a great sort of inside look into what happens into some of these programs, right? A little peek into it. So I love that channel. There's another channel that's the Apex channel. We talked about the certifications. Well, they also have a channel that has videos that explain certifications and also what are some of the industry standards. All right. Now, another thing that you shouldn't forget about is websites like blogs or even white papers. Now, there are websites like Supply Chain Dive and Deloitte Insights that publish free reports. They also have trends and as well as case studies. I get a lot of my resources from there. Now, a little tip I can give you, I do this myself. Set aside 15 to 30 minutes every day to either read an article or watch a video that relates to this, right? Treat it like your daily dose of professional development. Make sure that you at least once a day are watching something. I usually do it in my morning routine. As I'm getting ready for my day, I just set up my tablet. I put something on for one of these places. I also, podcast is a great resource as well that I didn't mention earlier, but in YouTube you'll find all of them just to be able to get more knowledge as you take on your daily tasks. So that's a little quick tip that I could give you. Now, you also have some practical experience through volunteering or projects. I mentioned volunteering a little bit before, right? But another path to building your skills without a formal education is by gaining that hands on experience. And like I mentioned, we can do this through volunteering, through freelance projects, or even through some part time work. Now, small businesses and nonprofits are always in the need for help. And they might need help organizing, like I said, their logistics, managing their inventory, or improving some of the processes they have in place, right? Now, for example, you can help a local charity streamline its supply chain, or for the food bank, arrange their food deliveries, or maybe assist a small business or a small e commerce business in setting up a way to better track their inventory. Now, these are experiences that are not only going to help you build your skill set with real world or hands on experience, and you can add them to your resume. I've done that. Any kind of volunteer work that I've done, I've added it to my resume as a volunteer section and has sort of highlighted some of the skills that I acquire, some of the things that I can highlight on there. So you can always do that, believe me, okay? Now, you can use platforms to find these type of volunteer work or project work. Platforms like Upwork or LinkedIn Jobs, you can find freelance gigs or small project work. Lastly, let's talk about networking and mentorship. Now, sometimes one of the best ways to learn might not be through the traditional methods or through like a textbook. It might be through having conversations with the people who have been there and have done that and who are already in the industry. Now, here's what you can do. You can join LinkedIn groups or industry groups on LinkedIn. There are tons of them for supply chain communities where professionals share tips, some resources, and even might post job opportunities. Now, another great way is to attend free webinars. There's a lot of them that are hosted by organizations like APIX, like the ISM, or the Logistics Management Magazine. Another thing that you can do is you can try to find a mentor. You can reach out to someone in the industry and ask for advice. I know that most professionals are willing to help others, especially if you show that you have an eagerness to learn, that you want to learn from them. As a quick tip, when you're reaching out to someone for a mentorship or expressing a little bit of interest in that, be specific. For example, say, I'm interested in logistics coordination and would love to hear about your experience. Can I have like 15 minutes of your time for some advice on a particular problem or issue I'm having? That clarity shows respect for this professional's time. It shows that you put a little bit of thought and effort into reaching out and that you have a point that you're trying to get into. It's not just randomly reaching out to somebody, but actually asking for advice. And most people, they will take the time to actually give you a little bit of insight into their experience. Okay, so don't be afraid to do that. Now, here's an important thing that I want you to remember: higher education is just one path into supply chain management. Online courses, certification, practical experience, and mentorship can help you get started without a degree. The key, again, is to take action. Learn something new every day. Build that hands on experience or that hands on skills. And don't be afraid to start small. Every supply chain professional started out somewhere, believe me. Now, whether you're learning on YouTube, you're earning a certification, or you're volunteering at a local community center, every step you take takes you a step closer into that career goal. Now, if you're ready to get started, check out the description down below for some great free resources, links to the certification programs, and to the online learning platforms. And also, let me know in the comments what is the first step that you're planning to take towards your career in supply chain. Okay, so let's get into one of the most exciting parts of any career, and that is growth opportunities. Now, supply chain management is an incredibly dynamic field. I've said that over and over again, right? But one of the best things about it is just the sheer variety of career paths that you can take. Whether you're just starting out or you've been working in this field for a while, there's always room for you to grow. Now, let's take a look into how you can advance in your supply chain career with some of the roles that you can aim for and the skills that you'll need to get there. Now, entry level to mid level roles, these are the foundations for growth. Most people start the supply chain careers in entry level positions like logistics coordinator, an inventory analyst, or a procurement assistant. These roles are your foundation and they teach you the nuts and bolts of supply chain operations. Now, here's the great news: supply chain management is a field where you can progress quickly if you show initiative, you have the right skills, and you have a willingness to learn. Now, for example, someone who starts out as a logistics coordinator can move into a role of a logistics manager or maybe a transportation planner within 2 to 5 years. Here's a quick tip: take ownership of your work and look for ways to improve processes, even in those entry level roles. Showing that initiative is going to be one of the fastest ways to get noticed, and you can also learn a new process or skill along the way. So always take pride in what you do and be willing to take on a challenge. Once you've gained a few years of experience, you're likely to aim for some of the mid level managerial roles. Now, these include positions like a supply chain manager. They oversee the end to end supply chain, ensuring efficiency and cost control. Or a warehouse manager. They focus on optimizing storage and inventory in warehouses and distribution centers. A procurement manager. They lead the sourcing strategies, supplier negotiations, and deal with cost reduction efforts. A transportation manager, they coordinate logistics and shipping, ensuring timely deliveries and cost efficiencies. Now, in these roles, you'll not only manage day to day operations, but also strategize for long term improvements. For example, a supply chain manager might work on reducing lead times by implementing just in time inventory systems or by automating warehouse management processes. At this stage, soft skills like leadership, communication, and conflict resolution become as important as the technical skills. Consider taking courses or workshops in people management or emotional intelligence. Another path to career growth is specialization. Instead of managing broad operations, you can focus on becoming an expert in a specific area. Some examples of some specialized roles include demand planner. Focuses on forecasting customer demand to optimize inventory and production. Quality assurance specialist. They ensure that products meet quality standards throughout the supply chain. Sustainability specialist develops and implements eco friendly supply chain practices like reducing carbon footprints and using sustainable materials. Data analyst or supply chain analyst uses data to optimize processes, identify trends, and improve decision making. Now, these roles are ideal if you enjoy digging into more of a specific challenge. Now, for example, a demand planner at a company like Nike might specialize in analyzing historical sales data and market trends to forecast how many shoes to produce for a particular season. Specialists are highly sought after because they bring a more targeted expertise to the table. To excel in specialized roles, invest in certifications like the ones I mentioned before from Apex and from the other organizations. For example, inventory management or Lean Six Sigma for process improvement, or a course on sustainability management if you're interested in sort of that eco focus approach. After gaining significant experience, many professionals aspire to senior leadership roles, like a director of supply chain. They set strategic goals for the entire supply chain network. Also, Chief Supply Chain Officer. They oversee the global supply chain operations, aligning them with the company's business objectives. VP of Operations. They focus on overall operational excellence, often managing logistics, procurement, and manufacturing teams. Now, these roles are about vision. You're no longer managing day to day tasks, you're driving the company's supply chain strategy forward. For instance, a chief supply chain officer at a company like Amazon might work on creating faster delivery systems using automation and drone technology, as we've seen that they're trying to do. Now, these roles often come with six-figure salaries and also with the chance to lead major projects and innovations. Senior leadership roles often require advanced education, like an MBA, and a proven track record of delivering results. Now, start building a portfolio of your accomplishments, like any kind of cost savings, process improvements, or team success. that you can present when the opportunity arises. Now, let's consider that growth isn't always about climbing that corporate ladder. Sometimes moving sideways into a different function within the supply chain can open new doors. For example, a procurement manager might transition into the role in supplier relationship management. A warehouse manager could move into supply chain technology implementation, working on ERP systems or WMS software systems. And lateral moves can broaden your expertise, making you more versatile and valuable to employers. Plus, they're also a great way to explore what areas of supply chain you might be more passionate about. Talk to your manager about cross training opportunities. Many companies are open to employees exploring different departments, especially in rotational programs. If you're interested in working abroad or leading global teams, supply chain management offers incredible international opportunities. Some supply chain roles offer exciting challenges like navigating cultural differences or managing logistics across multiple different time zones. For instance, a logistics manager for a Tesla might coordinate shipments of electric vehicles or components between factories in Asia, Europe, and the US. Companies like Apple, DHL, and Procter and Gamble operate across continents, and they always need professionals who understand the global logistics and also trade regulations. A good tip for you is learn about international trade regulations and develop some cross cultural communication skills. And if you're multilingual, well, try to highlight that. It is a huge asset when we're talking about global roles. And before we wrap up, let me share a few tips to help you accelerate your career growth in supply chain management. Invest in continuous learning. Stay up to date on trends and technologies like AI, blockchain, and sustainability. Certifications like the one I mentioned earlier, like the CSCP or the Lean Six Sigma, are great for building your credentials, and they're always going to be a good investment. I mentioned it before, and I'm going to mention it again. Networking. Join professional organizations, attend the conferences, connect with your fellow peers, whether it is through LinkedIn or other platforms, but take advantage of the opportunities that can come from having these relationships in the industry. Seek mentors. This can eventually be a result from the previous networking. Well, try to find someone in a role that you aspire to and learn from their experiences. Many professionals are happy to mentor ambitious newcomers or people that are starting out. And there are professional organizations that have mentorship programs. So take a look at those. Also, document your achievements. Keep a record of your successes, like anything related to how you improved processes or any kind of accomplishments that you had or your team had. Make sure that you document this because these are powerful tools that you can highlight during performance reviews and you could talk about when you're doing the interview circle. And you can really talk and show what you did that is actually an achievement of yours. Also, be adaptable. Supply chains are dynamic and disruptions can and will happen. So, showing that you can adapt quickly to challenges is a skill that many companies value highly. What a journey we've been on today's video. We've covered a lot of ground about the world of supply chain management and some of the careers. And I hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and some actionable steps to build your career. Now, here's what I want you to take away from this video and all of this and the conversation we've had today, that there's never been a better time to start a career in supply chain management as we move into the new year. The industry is growing rapidly. There's a lot of demand for professionals that's far outpacing the supply. And companies around the world are looking for people who can help them navigate these challenges that we are having in the industry, how to embrace new technologies that are coming in, and how to create more sustainable operations in the long run. Now, whether you're starting from scratch, from zero, or you're trying to pivot into another field, Well, the opportunities are there, and the time to act really is now. So, what would be your next step? Well, maybe it's enrolling in your first online course, or maybe think about earning a certification, or even signing up for one of our courses here, the MVC Logistics Academy. Shameless plug there. Where we help you break down some of the supply chain concepts into practical, actionable lessons. Or maybe it's updating your resume to reflect those transferable skills, or maybe reaching out to someone that you know in the industry for some advice. Whatever it is that you decide to do, don't let this momentum that you're having by looking up stuff about supply chain and a career in supply chain, do it today. Build your future today. Remember that supply chain management isn't just a job, it's a field where you can grow, you can innovate, you can truly make an impact on how the world works. It is about keeping goods moving, and it is about problem solving and creating solutions to things. It is about that. But also think about what goes on beyond that, right? It's ensuring that medical supplies reach hospitals, or making products more affordable, or that they can get to families who need them. So think about that, right? The bigger picture. And this is your chance to be part of something bigger than yourself. You don't have to have all the answers right now, but the important thing is that you take that first step. No matter how small, no matter how little you think it is, just think about keep moving forward. And remember, you're not alone. We're here to guide you every step of the way as much as we can, whether it is through our videos, through some of the courses that we built, or through the amazing community that I see that's building in the comments. So just keep that in mind. Don't feel like you have nowhere to turn for answers. I'll try my best to answer all the questions and all the comments you make here in the video. I would love to hear about your goals in the comment section. What's your dream role in supply chain management, right? What is that dream goal you're trying to achieve? And we can try to see if we can make that happen together. Now, until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep building that future in supply chain and logistics. Thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate it, and see you in the next one. Bye.